Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports, and I'm going to do a hybrid of unboxing, product review, and long-term review, and you'll see what I mean as we go along. What we're going to talk about today is the Vision Metron 5D handlebar. Now, this is for the rim brake version. There is an ACR that's usually for disc brake versions, and it integrates a way to run the hydraulic hoses and stuff like that through. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I'm just not a big disc brake fan, so I'm going to review the rim brake version. Now, what we're going to talk about today is right here. And let me know when that's in focus. And yeah. So what we have is a Bianchi color keyed handlebar. And this is in the 42 centimeter width and in the 120 stem length. And this is a special order for a bike I'm building. So this was ordered in specifically for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to build this gentleman's bike. Now, I love this handlebar when I ride it. The way that this bar has this sweep going forward, I love that position, because then when I've got my palms or the heel of my hands on the tops of this bar, it's just a nice wide platform to hold your hands on, but this is fairly close to your body, and yet this is a little bit more of away from your body. Now, generally speaking, I like to spread a rider out on their bike. Flexibility, previous medical history, those kinds of things may, or not may, but they do come into play. Now, that's the basic setup of this bar. You have this nice flat spot, so you can see there. And there is another video that I made when I spoke about the SQ Lab bar. And one of the things I didn't like about the SQ Lab bar was how thick they made this part here. And I have fairly big hands, so I've been palming a basketball since I was, I don't know, in my young teens. So even for me, that SQ Lab bar is too thick. And I'll link the video down in the description. But one of the things I love about this bar is how nice and flat this is, how nice and integrated this part is. And then down here, it does have some shaping, some scalloping that you could see there. And that is a perfect place to put your knuckles here and the inside of your hands. And if you're going to do a sprint, or even if you're just, climbing a steep grade up out of the saddle. So this handlebar has very, very good handhold positions. And what do you get in your little goodie bag? In this case, the goodie bag is a box. But this is the top cap. And you need this cap because when you cut the steer tube on the bikes that you're using this handlebar, you can't have a stovepipe, as some people call it. You can't have the steer tube of that fork extending up above here. So you have to cut it, and then you put this on here, and it's nice and flush, right? So there's the top cap. Then you also need aero spacers. So if you were to cut that steer tube, then you use these spacers to, to make it look all pretty and integrated. Now, funny thing about when I was building my bike, all this stuff didn't come together. So I got the handlebar. I needed to get the top cap separately, and I needed to get the spacer separately. So I was trying to build a bike before a 500-mile race, and I had this very small window between one 500-mile race and the next 500-mile race. It was like August 30th or something like that when I finished one race or started one, and the next one was like September 18th or something. So I only had like 2 weeks, and I was like, and it was, by the way, during lockdown, September 2020. All right, so there's that. Then you get another compression plug, which is really nice. The frame and fork frame set came with one, so I've got an extra one now. That's nice. And then you also get a few other items, such as computer mounts, and in this case, you also get this nice little plate here. So you run the housing through here, comes out here, and then this all combines it together. So I'm going to flip this over, and so it just makes a nice little neat package. Okay, and then you get two computer mounts. You get one like this, which will be more utility in nature, and it'll mount like that. But it's just a round tube here, so you can mount whatever you need on there, maybe some lights or something like that. All right, so I'm going to try to hold that in place so Mr. Cameraman can take a look at it. And or you get this mount, this computer mount. Okay, so all integrated, all nice and neat, and all designed to work together. Now, let's take a quick look at the weight of this bar. And when I give you the weight of this bar, it's very important that you realize that this is a handlebar and a stem, if you were to look at its weight individually. Now, this is a very, very stiff bar, by the way. I don't have a lot of upper body strength, as you can see. I only weigh about 150 pounds, so I'm not capable of flexing this bar. You know, Dylan Groenewegen, if I pronounced that right, he was on Jumbo-Visma for a while, and this bar was on his bike too. So he's much, much stockier than I am. Okay, so Mr. Cameraman, if you can focus in on that, it's 419, and again, this is a 42 by 120 stem. Okay, so that is the unboxing. I've intermixed some of the personal opinion of the bar as far as the product review portion of it. Now let's talk about my long-term pain with this bar. And it really depends on what you do with your bike. So I still participate in a few ultra cycling races. I still like to have, well, the biggest thing I've got going on is this. This is only Garmin. And this is a problem. And I'll explain more in just a minute. But this is only Garmin. Now, I ride a Wahoo. I think it's a better computer for the simplicity of the things that I need. I need it to track distance, elevation, and display my power. I don't care about anything else. I don't need color screens. I don't need the text messaging. I don't need the turn by turn. I don't need any of that stuff. All I really need is power displayed, distance, elevation, and of course all these other things are going to come, right? Because if you're getting distance, you're getting speed. If you're getting elevation, then you know what your grade is and all that stuff. So only comes in a Garmin setup. So my challenge has been, in the nearly 2 years of riding this handlebar, to find someone who actually makes a Wahoo compatible mount for this bar. So I'm reaching out to you to help me. I'm going out to the universe, I guess is what they say. Who knows of a mount that is compatible with this bar, that is compatible with Wahoo? Because that is the biggest pain I have had. You spend an inordinate amount of time going on Google and all these manufacturers that say they have a solution, and either they're not in stock or they're in Armenia or somewhere. So I had this one. This is called Hide a Bell. It's kind of cool because it's got a bell on it and it's hidden, so hence their name. But the problem I had with this one, which you can see that's broken, is this thing, no matter how tight I made this bolt, this thing kept creeping. So during the ride, multiple times, 10, 15, 20 times during the ride, I had to keep pushing this back down to make it flat. So that would sit like that. Okay? That was a problem. But I could attach a light. Nothing big, because I actually like bigger lights, but that's another topic for another video. So this fit nicely like that. But a lot of the ones that I find that say they're compatible with Wahoo, they're only compatible with a bolt, not the Roam. I like the Roam because I'm getting older and I always need readers for everything, and I like the bigger font on this. So now let's talk about this. Saturday, today's Friday, so a week ago tomorrow, I did a 100-mile ride in called Tour de Springs. And during that ride, while in the middle of a pace line, this broke, as you can see here. And, you know, there goes my computer, and thank goodness the glass didn't crack, because that's happened a lot to one of my riding friends, who's also had a lot of problems with this mount situation, because she rides Wahoo as well. So, of course, things are bouncing, and, you know, there's other riders. Thank God no one ran it over, and we pulled over, doubled back, picked it up. And, you know, you have to pull over safely, right? You're moving at 25 plus miles an hour. So turn around, go back, get it, and then this ended up in my pocket the rest of the ride. So that is a huge pain. So this is my bike. And the other problem I have with this bar is that the paint cracks on it. So paint cracking there, well, chipping off, and paint cracking here. And then this is the other side, or the other half of this guy here, right? And this is where it goes mounted, right there. Now, as I mentioned before, when I got my bar, I didn't get all the goodie bag stuff, so I didn't even have this blank off plate, so I built a bike without it. Now I'll see if I can order another one. But yeah, I had to order all my stuff separately. So yeah, the bolts are still in here, but the bracket broke off. So we have a couple of issues, and, you know, to be honest with you, had I known about all of this, which is why I'm making this video for you, had I known about all of this, I would have never put this bar on my bike. It looks bitchin'. I mean, Mr. Cameraman, take a look, maybe a side view or something so you could catch the whole bike. Maybe I'll do this as well. Is that better? Yeah. I mean, it completes the bike. But being able to mount lights to it, being able to mount computers on it, being able to do all that stuff has just not been easy. And I love to ride at night. I love to ride. I have a shop ride at 5:30 on a Wednesday night because I love to ride at night. Traffic dies down, the streets are empty. You know, to some degree, we're still in San Diego, but I like to do longer rides where maybe I'm starting at daybreak and going into the night, or maybe starting at night, rolling through the day into the night. It's a real pain, so I'm asking for help, please. Does anyone know of a good Wahoo compatible Roam? And I'm thinking these are going to get bigger anyway over time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to have to use this Garmin mount and then buy a Garmin cycling computer, which I have not used in probably 4 years, if not longer. Another reason why I like the Wahoo computers is I have never had a file corrupted. Never. And I do a lot of epic stuff that I don't want to be out there. You know, I've done I've Everested 9 different times. And you don't want to be out there for 12, 14, 16 hours, go to upload your file, and it says file corrupted. Or you don't get credit for everything you just did. So that's why, one of the main reasons why I switched over to Wahoo. And not to mention that many other riders always have had problems with their Garmin units. Maybe they're better now, maybe. So I may have to get a Garmin unit so I could use this mount, which is very stiff, and I've never seen anyone talking about these breaking. And then whenever I ride this bike, I have to use a Garmin unit. So until and if someone out there can give me better advice on a Wahoo compatible large format, not the Bolt, which is the smaller one, or the Mini, which is smaller, and a place that actually has them. Everywhere I've clicked onto, they're like, oh, not in stock, or I don't know, just tons of null experiences. That's all for today. It was about this bar, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you found this information useful, please like and subscribe. We're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm just over the moon with all of you who have helped me get this far. This channel is for you, and please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, we'll see you up the road.